It's Saturday morning at 10 a.m., so you know what that means. It's time for What's Up, Ocala? With tens of thousands of viewers every month on our YouTube channel and millions so far on TikTok, we are joined by our host, local owner, and broker of Great Expectations Realty, Andrea Praber.
Good morning and welcome to What's Up, Ocala. I am your host, Andrea Praber, and today I have a very special guest. We have been working on getting in here for a little while now, and I am super excited about this one. So why don't you tell everyone who you are and where you work and what we're going to be talking about today.
Gladly. I am Brittany Beal. I am the owner of Southern CPA, and we have a good 11-person team right now that helps service all of the tax, bookkeeping, accounting needs in our community.
Yes, you guys are really active with like the CEP and getting out there and talking to small businesses and all sorts of stuff. It's so exciting to have you in here. I know who's excited about having a CPA come in, but I really am. I really super am because you guys are so cool.
No, and I quite enjoy it. My favorite part of getting to do what I do is educating clients. So that's the part of getting out into the community that I have just absolutely loved.
I think that's really what the big difference is from what I've seen is, over the years, I've definitely met with different CPAs and different businesses like that, but you guys educate. You not only explain, this is what you should do, but also why you should do it and what the next step is going to be. And it was just, well, of course that's how you just make it so simple when I know it is not simple at all. So very cool. Congratulations on that. That's awesome. I love it when people have the heart of a teacher. Yep. I love that. That's awesome.
And we did so much so this year of enjoying it with the community that we even hired a full-time tax advocate that helps our tax payers as they get those nasty grams from the IRS yes. Because they don't always handle things correctly when they receive it from you. So we really enjoy being able to help our clients.
Come on, just put it in a drawer and forgetting about it is like the best game.
I've seen that.
I bet you have seen some things, probably a lot of things.
And we'll start with, for the most part, no, you can't write off your dog in your boat usually. So
usually. I like the usually.
But we'll keep the caveat that that's a usually.
Yeah, there is, because we do so many YouTube channels and stuff like that, it gets into some really muddy waters with ours because it's like, we want to go and do this activity and we're going to do the activity because we're showing people on the channel that this activity is available, but at the same time I'm doing it with my family. So is that a tax right? I mean, it gets into some really weird waters over there. So,
and I'll give the best tax answer that most of us are used to hearing. It depends.
It depends.
We're really good at saying that.
It depends. Let's see how painful that's gonna be when you have to explain that one. So what I normally tell my agents when we get into real estate gray areas, which there are a lot of gray areas, is just head towards the light. Just head towards the light and you'll get to keep your license. It's great. So probably same basic principle applies. Okay. So what are you going to tell us about today?
Yeah. So of course, just overview of some of what the service is more specifically that we can offer, but I really want to get into what's a deduction, what's not a deduction.
Ooh, good segue then. Yes,
some of those things that we think are deductions that aren't deductions.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, so our general services that we offer include bookkeeping. So we don't offer to train people how to do bookkeeping. That's a clear kind of distinction we try to make. We do offer full bookkeeping services, have a great little team for that. And we help with estimated tax payments, one of the biggest struggles for realtors, and evaluation of your estimated tax payments. So, for example, last year you may have filed your taxes and it says that you have estimates of $5,000 per quarter due. Great, fine and dandy. That doesn't mean if you pay those that you don't owe taxes at year end. And it doesn't mean you won't have a penalty for underpaying on taxes. You would hope they would explain more of this in, I don't know, maybe school, but they don't. And so unfortunately, it then falls to us to help educate on that. And then we offer payroll services, which also becomes a factor for our bookkeeping clients that have S-Corps, which we will get into when and where a realtor may want to consider an S corp maybe doesn't want to consider one. And then of course we do the fun-filled taxes. So a little bit of everything.
The basic stuff, the little taxes over there.
They're fine.
Yeah. I honestly, every year in January, we have to do, because we do property management, we have to get all of these 1099s out. And then just when you think you have a handle on them, they change the forms like completely. They went from like a miscellaneous to an NEC or whatever, So every year, it's basically, I hate that time of year, which it has to be done by, I think it's end of January 31st. Yeah. Okay. But at the same time, we don't even have the numbers until January 1st. So I have 31 days, and that's not business days.
That's adorable.
That's adorable.
Wait till we get into estimated tax due dates and how they want you to project how you're going to do for the rest of a month in it.
Who does that? And then they've got the insurance. Actually, your health insurance can come into play with that, especially with like small business owners or real estate agents, especially. We don't get some kind of employment benefit of, no, we're self-employed normally.
Yeah, I think that's a key distinction a lot of people when they're very first starting out don't understand is that you own a business now. You are a business owner when you're a 1099, and that comes with all the foibles and the benefits of getting to often set your own schedules and things like that. But all of the record keeping, tax paying, you're now the employer and the employee. Yay!
It's so fun. You get to wear all the hats all at the same time. It's so fun. But yeah, I think that is actually one of, as somebody that, is training an agent or whatever, that's one of the hardest things for their mindset to change is they're not working for me. They're doing their own thing. It's their own business. They're just licensed under me, and I'm going to help them make it sure we don't get sued. But as far as like telling them their hours or something, that I can't do that. Absolutely cannot do that. So it's kind of interesting how that.
No, and I love the point that you pointed out. Marketplace was one where I've seen the most people owe taxes the last few years with a surprise element to it was Marketplace. When you get a raise, when you have a sale you weren't expecting, you actually have to go into Marketplace and adjust your projected income, or you will owe back often all of those credits.
Yes. And it's like getting all of your health insurance monthly all at once, basically, plus the taxes.
Yeah, and so and I've seen it completely wipe out people's refunds because of that, and not accounting for. They'll ask that question of what's your household income, and not accounting. How are you supposed to know?
People get refunds. There's refunds. Oh wow,
yeah, there are out there. I've heard about them. I don't get to see them.
Definitely do not see those.
So one of those biggest pitfalls though is really watching what your actual income you told them for Marketplace was and what it actually really was, because often we'll forget like, oh, our spouse just got a bonus. Oh no, I didn't account for that in Marketplace.
Yes, that is very true. We've had Tirsa Rodriguez, who works over at Florida Blue. Everybody knows awesome. Tirsa. She does. She's awesome. I told you last time when she came on that everybody knew her, but anyway. But she was actually talking, about having to try and estimate what you're going to make for the year right up front, which hourly you would think would be a little bit easier, but not necessarily. If you get a bonus or if you get something else, or a pay increase, which, that's awesome.
Well, and many of us like to do something separately or that we just enjoy that we happen to get paid for, and we don't think about that as income. We also don't think about things like interest on our investments, dividends, things like that counting as income when it comes to Marketplace. I've seen a lot of people owe back that was the difference, was all of their interest and dividends they had from their investments. They didn't think of that as income per se.
Wow.
It wants you to project those too. So it wants you to guess how all your stock transactions are going to go for this next year.
If there's actually a person that can accurately figure that out,
I'm hiring if they can.
I would love to know what kind of crystal ball they are using, but it's basically you have to figure that out ahead of time. And if you don't know, you better update it.
Yeah.
You better get in there and be like, yeah, what I thought. Yeah, there's a little bit of a difference.
I like to see that at least quarterly. I
Really?
like to see most people that are self-employed in general, really quarterly, they need to do an evaluation of their business. They need to do an evaluation of how their business touches other things like their marketplace health insurance. In anything else that may be income-based, we often have where we'll have a government benefit that we're receiving, but it was income-based. So we need to keep that in mind as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if you want to jump in, we can jump into.
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah.
We got this.
So deductible items. So some of those ones that now we'll talk about to start with one of the good ones, mileage.
That is a good one.
That is a good one for realtors.
Explaining that one to somebody the other day, and I was like, okay, he has not even gotten his license yet. And I'm like, but you've got your business set up, right? Yep. And he's just like, my business? And I'm like, yes, your business. He's like, well, yeah, because I have to put aside taxes, right? And I'm like, you haven't made anything, but you have spent for driving here to see me or to have your, you've got all these things. You need to go talk to your CPA. And he's like, CPA? It's like, oh, honey.
Danger, Will Robinson.
Yes, you're going to need one of those.
And one of the most common questions I get with mileage is, can I take my ending odometer from the prior year and my current year and do a rough estimate? That looks like a shame face. No, you cannot.
Those years in the past, and when I was a newbie myself, there may have been something like that a long time ago, and yes, I found out the hard way.
She means past the 7-year look back period.
Yes, much past. We're talking like 2007-ish. It was a while ago.
Well, the nice thing is today there's so many great apps. I personally use MileIQ. I let it run in the background. I jump in there, once a week or so and go categorize, and it becomes much, much simpler when you use an app. Yes, you can use a logbook. You can write it all down by hand. I do recommend if you're going to do it that way, scan it in. Things happen. We spill drinks. We knock stuff over. We have the dog eat it, or in my case, the cat shred it, whatever.
That is a distinct possibility at my house.
Yeah, I lost my records because of an outside event does not matter when it comes to an audit. So not to be audit scary. Okay, I'll get back on good things.
Okay. Now there's some myths that I've heard over the years. Mm-hmm. Okay. So one of them is that if you are a real estate agent, for example, we can talk to all small business owners or all, salespeople or whatever, anybody tracking their mileage. If you get into the car and you are talking on your phone for work-related things the entire time you're in the car, it then becomes your office and you can use the mileage. Is that true?
I'd say it really depends.
It depends again.
Oh, okay. I'm going to get that in like 10 or 12 times. I guarantee it. If you were on the road to show for a client or on the road to do something else in tangent, because the trouble is you're taking usually a home office deduction. And your home office, you are not taking your vehicle. You're taking a physical location in your home. And that's another one that is a good one that often I will see people miss is the home office deduction.
See, I did it. I did a home office for the first couple of years, and then I was a little alarmed because there were other uses that I was using the home office for. And they're like, well, you have to figure out square footage, exactly what is working. I was a single mom at the time. So home office was, there was going to be toys all over. There was going to be, other things. So I basically, just to keep it clean, I stopped using that. And I know that is a pretty good deduction.
It is. Well, and again, it's like mileage. It can get actually really significant for somebody with a significant home. The mileage, you have a cool thing there where you can take, and I'm a nerd, so I'll call it cool. You can take actual or mileage. So if, for example, you had huge repairs to a vehicle in a year, it actually could behoove you, if that vehicle was primarily used for business, to take the actual expenses over your mileage. It's a thing you can compare. Home office has similar. There isn't just a standard deduction. There's actually a breakdown comparative of the entirety of what goes into your home. Your pest control, your HOA, your insurance, like all kinds of stuff can be factored into it. And I have seen home office deductions as high as $8,000 and $9,000 before using. We have a nice little worksheet the person can fill out, real simple.
I may need to reevaluate that choice. Yeah,
it can be very often. It's small if somebody just has a little workspace, but for other people, some of us, like I have a good sized room of my house is actually just an office, and that's all I use it for because all I do is work.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to say, when I'm at home, I do have the lovely home office, which I rarely use. And it's normally me sitting on my recliner. I'm not joking. With a laptop, you can do that. You know, I sit there and edit videos and stuff. So, but it is nice to have that dedicated space for it. So, all right, what else you got? What are the good ones?
So those are both fantastic ones. Gifts to clients. A lot of us like to give gifts to our clients, but there's a big but. Only $25 per client is deductible per year.
Okay, yeah, that's not going to go anywhere. Yeah. Like, if I gave one of my clients a $25 gift, that would be like that. You'd better off not doing it. So they need to up that. That's ridiculous.
I get it.
What is that for a gallon of milk these days? Like what?
Milk and eggs at most.
You go to Publix, they charge you that just for the bag. Like what?
So a couple, you can at least do $50. The other thing I recommend is take that client out for a very nice meal. Because at least then you're getting a 50% deduction for the meal. That's another one is client-related meals or business-related meals. If we go out and do a business planning strategy meeting together.
All right. So my husband and I are both realtors. And at one point, our daughter was also working in our office. So if we have a family dinner and we discuss work at the family dinner, does that count?
Often it does. That's a good one to always ask your accountant about. And if you're unsure, give specific examples. That allows us to better advise you whether or not something's deductible. And as most of us, we can't not talk about business. We almost live to talk about business.
I mean, it really, it's even if we're talking about somebody at the office or something, we own the
it just segues like right immediately into it. That's the other. It's a 50% deduction, but it's when consumed. So that's another one that I've seen. Unfortunately, people fall into the pitfall of I got all my Publix groceries because I want to be healthy and I want to cook and
I want into that dark gray area right there.
So that's an easy one. It's not even gray. It is not deductible. So your groceries are completely not deductible. As meals, even if you technically have like, I'm gonna make this meal up and I'm gonna bring it into the office, and so the meals deduction is for consumed at the time. You can get away with the things like a pub sub because you are consuming it immediately. It would be the same thing as going to Subway. I do recommend if you're going to do that and grab groceries, check out with 2 receipts, which is a lovely segue into do I need to keep receipts? Yes.
Those irritating little gems.
Yes. So, and a constant one I get is I'm not worried about, I've got all my bank statements and I've got my credit card statements and I've kept copies of them. They're about as worthless as a blank piece of paper. So they are nothing more than... think of them like for those of us that are older, a checkbook register. It's the equivalent of you just writing down what your check was and what it was for balancing your books. It does not help you in an audit. So it can help substantiate that it was a possibility of an expense, but the government does require the receipts. And so I say one of the most important things when it comes to business owners is getting a good receipt system. Where every time I get in the car, I just put that receipt in an envelope labeled January or February. And then at the end of the month, I run them through a receipt scanner or through my scanner at home. And there's a lot of really cool apps too for receipt scanning. QuickBooks Online has it built in and it'll match it right to the transaction. Super cool.
The one I found that is, my husband is a lover of all things receipts, even if it is a gumball that he bought from 2006 or something like that. He's got the receipt for it. And receipts can deteriorate pretty quickly, especially in the Florida sun. So be careful with those. All right.
Yep. Gas receipts. By tomorrow, it feels like those are gone.
So what we found was shoebox.com. I don't know if you've seen this one or not. Oh, it's so great. So you literally I honestly have a big gallon Ziploc bag and I just shove all the receipts in there and then they send you a little baggie for you to put it in, and you put it in the mail. It's all prepaid mail and everything. So you just stick it in your mailbox. They scan every single receipt and put it into your app that you can go in, and then they send you back the receipts in this very nice by date little stack, and you just can put it right there. So they're literally basically, the idea is you can send a shoebox of nonsense, which I'm sure you're very familiar with getting from people, and they clean it up and digitalize it. It's great.
We don't allow the receipt shoeboxes.
Really?
We do not.
Wow.
Because one is, do you want me to decide what your expense was for? That's one thing you actually, for the most part, unless, and that's another feature of this too, is that's not tax services. That's bookkeeping. So that will always cost you extra to have that done, because that isn't taxes. Yeah. That's bookkeeping. Yeah. And often you can do it faster and cheaper yourself. I get the not wanting to.
Oh yeah. No, I shove it all to them. They scan it in, they upload it, and then all I have to do is click real quick which one is business, which one is personal, and it all just separates out. It is beautiful. It's a great system for us. So,
I highly recommend as well never giving a box of receipts to another person and telling them to. Now the shoebox one sounds fantastic. I am immediately all over this.
You're like, I might sign up for that.
Yeah, no, it's great. I honestly do that. What if they miss a receipt? That you're not going to know they missed a receipt. You'll know if you missed a receipt. Like as you're sitting there putting it in, at the end of the day, you're not going to notice if a $120 Lowe's receipt wasn't captured, because you see one number for repairs and maintenance. That at the end of the day, receipt style accounting needs to be done by you. Primarily.
That's awesome. Okay. Great advice. Great advice. What else you got for us?
Yeah. Don't group your expenses. So I've gotten a lot of times, these were my real estate expenses. They were $8,000. Oh, okay. So what is it? What are they? And that's a terrible question when you're trying to file your taxes. Then you have to go back through, sort it all back out. It's much easier if you did MLS fees, my license fees, and very simple categories, but categories matter, because if you think about and take a look at your tax return from last year, if it doesn't fit in one of those buckets, it doesn't fit in a bucket. So that means it has to at least go on other, but we don't want to use things like miscellaneous. I wish they would take it off a tax return, honestly. Yeah. That's one of the more audited fields. It is not a field I recommend using. It's almost like you're putting it in there because you don't know what it is. Well, that's fun to defend in an audit. Yeah.
I didn't know it didn't really fit in any of the categories. So,
which is why they have other. So the beauty of the very last box of other is being able to put things like continuing education. Okay, there's not a box for that, but there is a way to get it in there and to label it clearly and not use miscellaneous.
Got it.
Non-deductibles. Sorry. Womp, womp, womp. Non-deductibles. Your clothing is not a deduction. I know you have to look pretty for work. Look at wearing the branded shirts and such that you're getting to promote your company. You're getting to get exposure about you, what you do, especially in this field. The more exposure you get, the better. But if you can only wear it for work, pretty much like something like the beautiful polo, then you're probably in the good. If you can wear it any other time, you are probably in the bad. You cannot write it off. If it is nice slacks, unless you are going to get that stamped somewhere then, or put on or affixed. I recommend asking your broker before putting anything anywhere weird.
Don't.
But at the end of the day, your normal clothes are not. And then the next one I get right on the back end of that is my hair, my nails. And I'm like, yep, I have to look nice for work too. And unfortunately, none of that is a deduction. So you cannot write off your hair. You cannot write off your nails.
All right. Well, tell everyone how to get in touch with your company so that they know exactly where to get their absolute best tax advice and education and CPA services.
Yeah, so you want to give us a call. The call is the best way to get an appointment set up. And when you call in, you also want to say where you heard about us from.
Yes, please. Yes.
That will also get you a sooner appointment. We expedite your guys' appointments as a thank you for having us.
Awesome.
So our phone number is 352 877-3717. And I definitely recommend setting up an appointment. That walking in and dropping off is fantastic too. If you wanted to become a new client during times when we're not taking new clients, that happens pretty frequently because we'll get a lot of them at once. And so when that does occur, give us as much notice as possible and ask for an appointment with one of our tax preparers so you can talk about your tax situation. Especially because when you're coming on new, we want to know as much about you as possible. And it's easier if you've set an appointment with at least one of our tax preparers, if not with myself. And you can get in much faster with one of our tax preparers, and I review, go through, and sign off on every tax return. So
wow. That's awesome.
Every tax return. There's a lot of them.
So you must be very, very busy.
Yes.
We appreciate you coming in here. We absolutely loved having you in here. Thank you so much for making the time.
Thank you for having me.
Greatly appreciate it. And if you guys need to get in touch with her, please do so. I cannot highly recommend them enough. They're fantastic.
At Great Expectations Realty, we believe that you should expect more from your real estate experience. When you hire a realtor to sell your home, you should expect experienced advice on staging your home, professional photography, aerial photos, virtual video tours, and a national presence online to advertise your home to the largest pool of buyers. Your realtor should communicate from start to finish, and always remember this is your home. You are in the driver's seat. We believe that if you aren't happy with our efforts, you should be able to fire us. We don't have cancellation fees, and our sellers never pay transaction fees either. Call Great Expectations Realty at 352-817-9160 or go online to greatexpectationsrealty.com to get your free analysis of your home's market price. Great Expectations Realty.
Welcome back. All right, before we get into the sales stats this week, I want to ask a small favor. If you're enjoying this program, go ahead and let us know. The website here at the radio station is classichitsocala.com, or if you're watching on YouTube, you can go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section below. If you're a fan and truly think that we've helped you or educated you or entertained you in some way, share. And on YouTube, go ahead and click subscribe if you haven't already. All right, let's go ahead and jump into those real estate stats for this week here in Marion County over the last 7 days. Currently, there are 3,245 homes available and ready to purchase. That's actually fewer homes sitting on the market over last week's numbers yet again. Take note, folks, because that number has been slowly but steadily going down lately, which is definitely good news. All right, new listings, we have 268, price increase 76, price decrease 345. Back on the market 107, sold 294, expired 60, pending 319. Well, some people got some shopping in. All right, temporarily off the market 21, withdrawn 7, and canceled 46. The average rate on our 30-year fixed rate mortgages here and around the country are 7.39% this week, according to Bankrate's national survey of large lenders. That's right, 30-year mortgages, the most popular type of home loan, have been in the 7% range since about mid-February. While a lot of variables impact the 30-year mortgage prices, the biggest driver now is inflation and the Federal Reserve's efforts to tame it. The central bank left its benchmark rate the same at its April 30th and May 1st meeting, all but guaranteeing mortgage rates aren't going to come down anytime soon. The National Association of Realtors actually reported that ongoing headwind doesn't help buyers, yet many have still forged ahead, as we could see with those numbers this week, into the home buying season as it gets underway. More homes were under contract in March, even though prices broke records. So 30-year fixed rate mortgage is 7.36%, with many lenders saying they're actually seeing more like 8%. 15 fixed rate mortgage is 6.79%. 30-year fixed rate FHA is 7.27%, so it might be something to look into. If you're thinking of selling your home, I would love to talk to you. You can go ahead and make an appointment at any time that's convenient for you by going online to VIP.greatexpectationsrealty.com/consultation. If you're wanting to go it alone and want to give it a go as a for sale by owner, don't worry. I've got your back on that too. I just released a new book, How to FSBO Like a Pro. It's available exclusively on Amazon for your Kindle, or you can read it right on your phone with your Kindle app. All right, let's talk about some fun stuff to do this weekend. We have the downtown market, of course, this weekend. Downtown Ocala is the place to be. In fact, why aren't you there already? Visit all the local local vendors, bakers, artisans, and farmers. And don't stress about any weird weather because it is under roof, so you can enjoy rain or shine. The Ocala Splash Pad at Citizen Circle is open and ready to go. In fact, pools are opening this month as well. On May 18th, we have the Jervey Gant Aquatic Fun Center. And then on May 25th, which is also coincidentally the end of school year, that's the Hampton Aquatic Fun Center will be open as well. Let's see. We have the musical Jimmy Buffett's Escape to Margaritaville. It is live on stage until May 19th at the Ocala Civic Theater. Tickets are only $30 for adults and $15 for ages 18 and younger. Lots of great stuff happening actually in Ocala. We have the Levitt Amp Ocala Music Series. The Symphony Under the Stars is coming up. That's on Sunday, May 12th. The Rock the Country 2-day music festival that's supposed to be rumored by Kid Rock himself to have 35,000 people that are going to be in attendance for that. I don't know what's going on with that. Kid Rock actually said he didn't even know what was going on with that. So much more stuff is happening. So stay tuned for details on all of that. That's it for this week, but don't worry. We are going to be back next week on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for another amazing show. So we'll see you then.
You've been listening to What's Up, Ocala? Follow us all week on Andrea Praber's YouTube channel and TikTok. We'll see you next week at 10 a.m. on What's Up, Ocala.